You have to change your vibe, man. Hello, my friends. My name is JC, and I'm your physical ascension guide. And today we're going to talk about how to change your vibration and what that really means. Now, most people think that it's just like an attitude or something like that. Okay, your vibration is so much more. First of all the atoms in your body are just vibrating, making up this body, right? So that alone, you're just a vibration. They show in semantics the plate. Have you ever seen the videos of the plate with sand on it and they change the vibration of the plate and it makes different patterns? They can even make it get up and make a human shape and walk around with just vibration and frequency. So that's what you are. You are just dirt, you're just atoms getting up and walking around, but you're formed out of frequency and vibration. And you can literally affect that just with your thoughts even. But there's also other ways to affect your vibe. And when you raise your vibe, it's not just um, changing your attitude or something like that. There's actually real physical aspects. Remember, I'm the physical ascension guide. I'm teaching you the physical part of ascension, and so that's what we're going to talk about. So first of all, the cells in your body have these little hairs. Okay, and they're super hard to see. So you just look at a cell under a microscope, you're not going to see them. They're super, 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 super thin. And um, so when you have a low vibe, you only have one or two of those vibrating. When you have a high vibe, you have 6 or 7 of those vibrating. And it's literally changing the cells in your body. Imagine a picture of someone drawing a sun, okay, and you just have straight lines coming off for the rays of the sun. Now picture someone else drawing a picture of a sun, but their rays are curled or spiraled a little bit, right? I know you've seen the pictures. So two different suns, one with straight rays and one with wavy waves, rays. Sorry. That's basically what you're doing. So the one with straight rays is just, of course it's putting off a vibration because that's what we are. We're vibrational beings, but it's going to be a low vibe, where the one with all the hairs vibrating is going to be a high vibe. And so you're automatically gonna be healthier. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna have more energy, and you're gonna be more positive. And there's several different ways to do this. So one, of course, is you want to affect your thoughts because your thoughts are extremely powerful, especially when it comes to your own body. So you want to start. That's where you want to start doing the positive affirmations and getting right in your mind, right? And these are gonna raise your vibration and help you feel better, but there's more to it. It's not just your thoughts. There's the real physical process. Those who follow me know that we're talking about raising the Chrism oil. That is part of raising your vibration, is raising the oil. Okay? So for those who don't know, you have this fluid, the sacred fluid that's made in your body. And it starts in the brain, it goes down the spine, it mixes with the waters in your lower area and then goes back up. The arc of the covenant is the sphenoid bone. The arc is your skull. Okay, so you have to learn how to use all these together to raise your vibe. So when you're pushing that fluid through your body, it's not even gonna. First of all, it's not even going to be generated in the first place if you're in a low vibrational state. So you have to kind of start working on yourself and get into that higher vibrational state just for the oil to even be created. I'm going to read you a couple things here. Um, how some other some other ways to raise it is to clean the temple. You want to get rid of all the toxic stuff in your body. Okay, you just one of the things that I did this one time, this was great. It was called a combo session. Kambo, I think. It's been a long time, but look it up. It was great. What they did is they put this stuff in my eyes, almost like eye drops, but it kind of burns a little bit, and it's to clean your eyes out. And then they put some snuff up your sinuses, and it cleans all your sinuses out. And then they take like an incense and burn some little holes on you, and they rub this stuff from a frog. And no, it's not the hallucinogenic stuff. Um, but they rub this toad secretion on it, and it causes you to throw up and have diarrhea and stuff. Really, really, really bad. Pretty much right away too. You do it for 3 days in a row, and it just super. It's a super detox. I felt so amazing afterwards. It was great. Quit eating sugar, stuff like that. Eat good, healthy food. I always say, try your hardest to eat whole foods that are organic, non-pest or pesticide free. That's a huge one. Organic does not mean pesticide free. Okay, so you want organic, pesticide free whole food. I want to throw in water also with that. You need to decalcify, quit ingesting fluoride. So get fluoride free toothpaste, quit drinking fluoride water, get filters. And if you do get a really good filter that takes out everything, then, no, excuse me, make sure that you're putting minerals back in. I have a jug like this I keep in my fridge. Then the kids, every single time they get water, they put these minerals back in there. So that's key. Another thing is to control the breath. Okay, so the breath moves the cerebral spinal fluid. Deep nasal breathing, especially while walking or meditating, it's your sacred pump. Breathing is key. I always recommend doing a deep breathing exercise. I smoked for 30 some years, so my lungs were shot. So I always do a deep breathing exercise every day. And it's so weird because you start and you can like barely do it, and then by the time after 15 minutes, you're like holding your breath for a long period of time. It's pretty crazy how it builds up in you. When you're doing it, don't um, forget, like, if you start getting lightheaded or at any point you need to breathe normal during that 15 minutes, go ahead and do that. Okay, you don't want to cause yourself to pass out or anything. But what I like to do is just take a deep breath in through the nose, and when you do it, you want to get that little extra, right? And just hold it as long as you can, and then slowly let it out, and feel that pressure kind of build up behind your eyes. You kind of feel that nasal cavity expand a little bit. Okay, and just do that over and over for 15 minutes, and I feel amazing afterwards just doing that. But that will help you. And then when you do it, also, don't just it's not just about breathing in through the nose. You also want to concentrate on your diaphragm. So I was taught, it's almost kind of like reverse breathing, kind of. It's kind of weird. Usually when you breathe, when you breathe in, your stomach pushes out because your lungs are filling up. But what I want you to do is opposite. I want you to consciously suck your stomach in when you breathe in, and push your stomach out when you breathe out. And you're working that diaphragm, and you're learning to control your diaphragm and control your breathing. And then when you go to use it for your 2.5 days, when you're doing the technique to pump the oil through your body, you have greater control of that diaphragm. Okay. Excuse me. Another thing is, you want to preserve the seed. Okay. Sexual energy is creative fire. When you conserve it, that power transmutes and raises the chrism up Jacob's ladder. Sexual energy is so important. When in the beginning, when God created the waters of heaven and the waters of earth, and He separated those, what they're talking about are the waters in your body. Heaven is your mind, earth is your body. So the waters in your mind are separate from the waters in your body. So what we're doing here is we're connecting those, okay, and we're making a circuit. So the fluids in your lower area are just as important as the fluids up here. Without both of them, this isn't gonna work. Okay, you gotta have both of them, and it works the same in men and women. So women, you can't just be going around wasting your fluids either. Okay, you need to conserve those. Now, this doesn't mean that you can never have sex. That's why I think like the Christians, or sorry, the Catholic priest have gone too far. They're trying to be celibate all the time, and then we have this sexual deprivation. Uh, I keep saying that word. I don't think that's the right word. The sexual immorality, right? Because they don't know how to control it. They don't know what they're doing. Excuse me, I'm kind of phlegmy today. Telling you, Dr. Sebi would not be happy. You really need to work on just drinking good water and good food and get away from that phlegm. So, anyways, um, work on your posture and this sphenoid bone. My last video I talked about the sphenoid bone. Your sphenoid bone is the Ark of the Covenant. It literally shifts and opens the gateway for the oil to cross the Red Sea into the third ventricle. Okay, so this is pretty important too. So if you have like a spinal injury, I don't think that is going to inhibit this process. I believe that you can still do it because you still have spinal fluid, everything's still connected. Um, and when you're all slouched over and stuff, just poor posture, your body just isn't flowing the way it should be. Okay. And I have a lower back injury, so I always sit up straight anyways. And people always make fun of me all the time. They're like, why don't you just relax? And I remember I was at a family reunion, and one of my aunts said something to me about it, like called me a stiff back or something, and was kind of poking fun at me. And I'm like, well, I have a spinal injury. I have to sit like this. But but also like I can feel um you know, I don't know if it's really fluid or something, but I just feel like tingly. I just feel better when I sit up straight and I have good posture. You know, I don't know. Play around with it, do different things. It definitely affects your sphenoid bone, especially, the rocking. We've talked about how the sphenoid bone is connected to the perineum, and also to the pelvic bone. So, you want to use all these in conjunction, but you need to sit up straight and have good posture for that to flow. Um, this isn't just religion. This is like real sacred anatomy. It's the physics of spirit, the biology of God. You need to raise the oil and raise your vibration. Raise the vibe and remember who you are. The kingdom is within you, and the map is written in your bones. It's in you. And another way to help your thoughts, because you really, your thoughts are going to affect more than anything. That's what really kicked it off for me, was learning to control my thoughts, self-control. And I started doing some research into that. And the thing that just really came back to me strong was positive affirmations. I'm always pushing positive affirmations. And that's why. That's really what I started with. And I just started doing them. At first, it kind of felt awkward, and I just did them once in a while. But then I started getting into it, and I started doing it all the time. And I did it at the time, I was driving an hour to work and an hour home. So I had plenty of time to do it in the car. So I would do it while I was driving, on the way to work and on the way back. Sometimes the whole ride, even. And it really, really helped. It helped so much because it helped put me in a different mindset. And throughout the day, when I would struggle and I would um, have confrontations and stuff like that, I was in a higher place, so it was easier to get through that without freaking out and losing my mind. Does that make sense? So it just kind of helped me through the day, just deal with life in general. It just made it easier. Like the shit still comes. It's just easier to get through, if that makes sense. And like I said, like you're literally physically changing the cells in your body, and it's through thought. Your thoughts are just crazy powerful. You have no idea. Well, maybe you do, but your thoughts are crazy powerful. So powerful that you can heal yourself. I'm sure you've heard of the placebo effect, where they give people sugar pills or some kind of fake pill and they heal themselves just because they believe that they're getting the cure. So you have to understand that your thoughts are extremely powerful, so powerful that they're even causing the war that's going on right now. Yeah, your thoughts are causing the war. So you need to control yourself and raise your vibe. And people will feel that. As soon as you walk into a room, people feel your vibe, whether it's good or bad. People can feel it. You're putting off an energy. You're putting off this aura, just like this heart behind me. You're similar to that, right? You're just emanating this, and you can change the vibration of that. And that's what we need to do. That's what we mean when we say raise your vibe. Okay, it's all of it together. I hope all that makes sense for you, my friends. I love you. Till next time.